Hello all, my name is Ty Douglas and today I'll be presenting my UMGC Unit 7 Data Story Analysis presentation on a 6-year data survey pertaining to employee satisfaction and retention rate trends based on a theoretical business firm we'll refer to as Company A, with aim to identify departmental weaknesses, seasonal patterns, geographic trends, and the impact of salary-based bonuses. The dataset consists of 2 separate data tables, an employee table containing core demographics and job attribute information, such as the department each employee works in, like manufacturing, innovation, and finance, employee primary and secondary education levels, whether the employee is in the entry, middle, or upper level tiers within the company, employee full-time, part-time, and tenure status, work experience levels, as well as information pertaining to supervisory chains of command, employee promotion histories, and the number of employee annual trainings. Benefits allocation statuses, remote hybrid or in-person work statuses, compensation variables such as salaries, bonuses, and shift statuses, along with locale and work travel factors like employee zip codes and commute times are also factored into this data set. Likewise, the survey data table consists of employee satisfaction scores representing each employee's overall satisfaction in the current position they're working in, a field boasting the aspects of job duties each employee feels most positively or negatively about, and whether employees are satisfied with their salary-based bonuses. In analyzing the culmination of information contained in the dataset, we begin with assessing employee demographics information. Here we can see that the majority of workers have been employed with Company A between 1 and 30 years, with the average employee working for around 16 years. There are quite a few newcomers, around 213 to be exact, who've worked at the company less than 3 years, with the majority of the 30-year span being around 6 years, as a whopping 414 employees are currently employed within this work span. Likewise, there are more than a few employees who've surpassed the tenure mark of working more than 11 years, with the highest ranking 410 tenured employees serving Company A for roughly 25 years. And while a great deal of employees work remotely, a number of them commute to the office, with travel times ranging anywhere from 10 minutes to an hour and a half, with average commute times equaling around 23 minutes each way per day. Company A's hierarchical business departments include branding and marketing, finance, human resources, innovation, manufacturing, and research and development, as briefly mentioned in the introduction, with the majority of workers employed in the manufacturing department and the least in HR. Education levels of Company A's workforce range from high school all the way up to doctorate degreed workers, with the majority of employees, roughly 1,300, bearing high school diplomas, with bachelor's, master's, and doctorate degree holders ranking 2nd, 3rd, and 4th within this demographic. Further, in assessing the employee survey results pertaining to the levels of satisfaction being actualized within Company A's workforce, we can gauge that the majority of employees are fairly satisfied within the company, as their work-life balance, salaries, relationships with management, and opportunities for advancement dissatisfaction scores are quantified fairly low on the survey scale, while a number of employees have raised significant concerns pertaining to their job duties and benefits packages, with the majority of workers feeling hugely dissatisfied with their commute times to and from work. This disparity is evidenced by the creation of a centralized point representing Company A on this map, with an outstretching 30-mile radius around it relative to the zip codes of each employee residence. We can see here that the majority of employees live quite a distance from the office, as the closest locational point on our map shows a distance of 63 miles. So for hybrid and in-office employees, this is certainly a steep distance to traverse each day. Likewise, in quantifying survey departmental employee satisfaction scores, we can see here that the Human Resources Department has the least satisfied employees, with finance and branding and marketing coming in close second and third. The same can be asserted in the HR department pertaining to employee satisfaction with their bonus benefits packages as well, with exception to the inversion of the branding and marketing and finance rankings. I surmise then that the folks responsible for scouting out and hiring Company A's talent pool are largely dissatisfied with their day-to-day roles due to the blatant fact that there really isn't much day-to-day task differentiation within these types of roles, and the work could become a bit routine, redundant, and boring, as they largely lack the sort of variations we realize within tasks like branding and marketing, research and development, or even within the process of manufacturing a product, as management and upper-level employees might be in contact with vendors and third-party clients, as well as engaging in a slew of other distinct day-to-day tasks to progress production marketing goals. This notion is further supported within the qualitative show of satisfaction trends where departments like HR, finance, and branding and marketing show very little variation and fluctuations within any of the survey data pertaining to areas like job duties, opportunities for advancement, salaries, and benefits packages, congruent with my theory on workplace variety and job satisfaction trends. Further, in analyzing the seasonal trends pertaining to employee satisfaction, we see here within this quarterly satisfaction line chart that most all satisfaction scores consistently dip in quarters 1 and 3, aligning with production cycles and workload increases, while quarters 2 and 4 show more stable and consistent employee satisfaction levels, reflecting stark fluctuation trends in satisfaction scores rather than the survey counts asserted within the satisfaction trends chart. Moreover, in grouping the employee localities of Central, Western, and Greenville Metro, North Carolina, along with Florida for remote workers, as well as the vast outskirts of other Company A employee locations to consider regional trends pertaining to employee satisfaction scores, I discovered that Company A's Floridians and those living in the outskirts, perhaps other hybrid or remote workers, have some of the longest tenure spans within the company, while the western edge of the Carolinas boasts trends of dissatisfied employees, particularly pertaining to salary. Likewise, the Central Carolinians appear to be more satisfied with their advancement opportunity incentives as each regional group progresses in seasoned workers within the company. Further, as stated earlier, employees living the furthest from Greenville, Company A's central location, realize satisfaction decreases pertaining to commute times and scheduling, as the longer commute spans show higher dissatisfaction related to fatigue, almost certainly related to disproportionately skewed work-life balances. And finally, engaging the salary-based bonus program, a revelation is asserted unveiling a modest but prevalent relationship between bonus eligibility, salary, and employee satisfaction. And while the impact isn't very stark in contrast, employees receiving higher salaries and thus higher bonus percentages generally report slightly higher satisfaction scores. However, this effect is uneven across both departments and regions, as long-term tenured employees benefit far less from the bonus structure than employees in increasing salary or knowledge-based positions. Together, these patterns suggest that while the bonus program contributes positively to satisfaction in its direct correlation to salary increases, the bonus program on the surface appears to contribute to improved satisfaction, but only in viewing it in comparison to other key factors such as tenure and salary incentives as well. And based on these assertions, only when the departmental, salaried, tenured, and regional employees' concerns are regarded in the overall bonus satisfaction scoring process could it be a more equitable and effective employee incentive. And this concludes my presentation. It's been a pleasure presenting to you all. Thank you for listening.